There is a stated objective of ours that by the year 2047, we will be a developed nation. But who is going to take us into this journey of development is, I don't think it is going to be me, it is going to be all the young people, some of whom are in the room. The young people in our country, the youth of our country are the future. They are in many senses an aspirational generation. We are also very fortunate as a nation because we are a country of young people. The average age in India is 28 or 29 years. In Europe it is, and in America it's 35 years, and China is also 35 years, Europe 38 years, and in Japan it is 42 years. So we are a young, productive nation, which is in contrast to countries all over the world. And so as we look at the future, we look at it with optimism, buoyancy, and with a certain sense of expectation. And today I think we are fortunate that with very firm and very, very able leadership, we have come up to the level where in the launching pad for the next 25 years in which we will attain 100. So I say that because the book is intended to really, I think, reach out to the younger generations. We are also fortunate that in Darjeeling, we have a very, very smart, able, enterprising, young, I would say, community. Anywhere I travel within the country, in professional positions, I see people from Darjeeling. Now you travel the world, you see people from Darjeeling. Whether you go to the Gulf or you go to America, you will see people from Darjeeling. So people from Darjeeling, the younger people, are looking out for their futures in different parts of our country and the world. It's important that they get the guidance, they get the motivation, and they have the necessary means to become successful in their own home and outside. And I think from that perspective, again, we are very fortunate. Today is actually a very historic day. And we are also favored by the weather because the sun is shining brightly. We have an important G20 meeting that is taking place in Darjeeling. In a short moment from now, G20 delegates who are here for the working group on tourism will be coming to the Rajbhavan to pay their respects to the Honorable Governor. Tourism is very important for our country. Prime Minister has listed the 3 T's: trade, technology and tourism as being the way forward for our country. And tourism is very important for Darjeeling. So it is fitting that the working group, that the G20, some of the most influential countries across the world, their tourism representatives are coming to our town and seeing for themselves firsthand the tourism potential that our city and our district can offer. And I must say that the Gorkhaland Territorial Administration, the state of West Bengal, and of course the municipal authorities have gone out of their way to make the delegates feel welcome, whether it is in Makebari, whether it is in Triveni, whether it is at Bhoom, Patasya, and now in Darjeeling. So I have no doubt that this will be a historic moment where representatives from across the world, countries across the world will be here in Darjeeling and will enjoy what is really the best that Darjeeling can offer. So I would say that when you look at the G20, just very briefly, because we have a shortage of, we have a fixed time. G20 is, let us put it in perspective, this is the first time that India has become president of the G20. This is also the largest international event that India has ever hosted. The Prime Minister's vision is to host the G20 in a manner which is pan-Indian in nature, which means that meetings should not just be in the capital city of Delhi. In fact, very few meetings are in Delhi, only the summit is in Delhi. Meetings should be all across the country. And not only that, through Jan Bhagidari mode, the message of our G20 presidency should go down to the grassroots levels, through universities, schools, different means, so that people understand what G20 is about and it connects to every citizen in our country. So when it comes to Darjeeling, I think it is a moment not only of satisfaction, but a great, in many senses, an inflection point in the way tourism is regarded in Darjeeling. When we had our meeting with the tourism representatives in Karshaon, and Siliguri. We had some 15 to 20 leading representatives of the Darjeeling tourism sector represented in the meeting. Many of them spoke. One of them also made a presentation on Darjeeling, the nicest place. And I think that was well received by all the delegates. So it's a great opportunity, and I think we have a great way forward. So let me thank once again Honorable Governor for giving us this honor of launching the book today, sir. Thank all those who worked extremely hard to put this together. Starting with the author, Dr. Deepmala Roka, who has come despite her medical situation. She has taken the trouble to come here, be with us, and share her views. Sanjeev Damaji, who's accompanied her, her spouse, all of you who are here, who have contributed and have come from great distances. Dr. Shashi Bhushan has come from Georgia in the US, where he has been instrumental in passing a historic resolution on Hindu phobia. People talk about Islamophobia, but nobody is talking about Hindu phobia. And I think it is actually, in many senses, having been ambassador in the US, it's a very significant moment. So all of our friends over here, whether it is from the Aditya Birla Group, whether it is from the pharmaceutical sector, whether it is from the energy sector, we are very grateful that you are here and you've supported us. All of our friends from Darjeeling who have been here throughout and volunteered to make the event a successful one, thank you very much. My colleagues from the G20 Secretariat and the Ministry who have been instrumental in organizing the G20 meeting here, but also in assisting us with the event. Our friends from the media, the communications team that has supported us, and I want to thank Srimati Kavita Datta because she has been a friend. Actually, she's here in the capacity of a friend. Hina ji, who has been our most able MC, very prominent NDTV presenter, television presenter, a very well-known face in India. All of you for being here, and most importantly, people of Darjeeling for really making it possible for someone to come up from this wonderful city to an international level. And then I would say what we really need to see is how we can do much more of making a success of our younger generations and our future. So thank you very much.
I have great pleasure to be here with you on this occasion when the biography of one of my distinguished younger colleagues is being presented to the world of readers. I am reminded of something which I shared with some other group the other day. We are both from the civil service. We are supposed to implement the laws of the land, but he has made me break the law. There is a law in the Indian civil service. After passing the examination, we should stop reading. I was following it meticulously. Now he has made me break the law and read them. A good book is a precious lifeblood of a master spirit. Milton says, a good book is a precious lifeblood of a master spirit. And about books, there are a variety of books. There are books and books. Bacon says, some books are to be tasted, some to be swallowed, and a few to be chewed and digested. To which category this belongs? To be tasted, to be swallowed, or to be chewed and digested? Since I've had the occasion to go through some of the chapters here, I think this will fall into the fourth category, where this has to be devoured by the readers. That's what is going to happen. About writing biography, I had an experience recently. When I came here, one gentleman, a writer, he told me, as governor, I would like to write a 300-page biography verse. I was surprised. Why not 320? Why not 250? He said, a 300-page book, your biography I want to write. I said, what should I do for that? 1 year I have to be constantly with you. If you don't mind, I can stay in the Raj Forest. Then I told him, in 2 hours, you can finish that 300 pages. How, sir? If it is my biography, first 2 pages my biodata, rest 298 blank pages. So that is where I stand. Now, he is a diplomat. There are diplomats and diplomats in this country. How came that he stands apart? That was like a star and dwelt apart. Thou heart's a voice whose sound was like the sea, the poet wrote. How came that he alone is picked up to lead this country when the G20 is being held here? These are all questions which one has to ask oneself and answer oneself because he has been discovered by Modi. And that is not a small joke. Once the Prime Minister decides to put somebody on the task, it does not mean he is the best. He is better than the best. That is why he has been picked up for the best. As Shakespeare said, some are born great, others achieve greatness, and greatness is thrust upon some. He has earned that greatness by sheer competence. He is from Darjeeling, but he is darling of the diplomatic world. That is the transformation which he has been able to take. When we are meeting at a time, leading 85% of the GDP of the whole world, am I right?
Absolutely.
These countries represent 85% of the GDP of the world. What has he done? He was sent by Darjeeling to go and see the world. What has he done? He is bringing the world to Darjeeling. That is the transformation. He looks very simple, very ordinary. He connects with all of you. He can remember the names of each and every one of you. And even if he becomes a politician, I don't mind, he will, because he has all the knack of that. Everything that happens around us in this globalized world has international significance. The Prime Minister of India, he hosted an international dinner in which a small mishap took place. An Indian waiter dropped a plate of meat. Everybody was embarrassed. The Prime Minister, not being nonplussed, he said, this is a symbolic act. What is a symbolic act? This is a symbolic act. See, the Indian waiter dropping a plate of meat in an international dinner. What does it signify? Fall of China. Spread of Greece. Dismemberment of Turkey. Disappointment of Hungary. Shame for India. See, any small thing which happens, the reverberates. It has got international ramifications. He has a knack to know what is what and what is not. To see the truth within the truth. That is what made him a good diplomat, becoming a great diplomat. There is a major difference in that. See, if you go to the film world, there are directors and directors, good directors. But if Satyajit Ray became a great director, there is that individuality, what the poet Yeats called thisness in everyone. It is that thisness which distinguishes A from B. Yes, he is transformational. That is what, again, the Nobel laureate W.B. Yeats was an ardent admirer of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. In his East of 1916, he says, all change utterly, a terrible beauty is born. All change utterly, a terrible beauty is born. But an inspiring leader, an inspired leader, he comes and ignites the minds of others, team members. That is what happens. All change utterly, a terrible beauty is born. Some cynic has defined the role of the ambassador. They said, an ambassador is an honest man who lies abroad for his country. Underline lies. But here, he is a person who can do perception management. I was also a bureaucrat. In fact, your present boss, Jaishankar, we are batchmates. But where is Jaishankar now? Why? Because that trait, that trait should be there. What distinguishes us good from the great is something which is individualistic. One has to assume that. Truth has to be presented in the way it should. That is diplomacy. They do not deviate from truth. But perception management is very important. Recently, when our Prime Minister went to America, a naughty young man asked him a question in the backdrop of the allegation that Delhi is the rape capital and all which was there in Washington Post and others. He asked a question, ticklish question. Mr. Prime Minister, how is Delhi? He said, where are you from? I am from Atlanta. How is Atlanta? Beautiful place, beautiful people. You can trust anybody. Very selfless, affectionate. What did he say? Delhi is also like that. Another young man come. Mr. Prime Minister, how is Delhi? Where are you from? I am from Atlanta. How is Atlanta? Nasty, brutish, selfish people, hell upon earth. What did he say? Delhi is also like that. See, Delhi remains the same, truth remains the same, but perception differs. He is a change agent for perception. India has been made to see by the world as it should. India is a great country. We should assert we are great. India is a strong country. We should assert we are strong. That is what he has been able to do. And I am sure that after the G20, he is also a mountaineer, Andrew. Am I right? When I went to the Mountaineering Institute, they said Sringla. I thought maybe another person who was scaled the Mount Everest. Then I said he was foreign secretary. This same Sringla. Now I know the secret of your success. Mountaineering. Mountaineering. See, in the civil service, all of us come to the first base camp. Second base camp, 70%. Third base camp, 50%. Fourth, fifth, sixth. At the eighth base camp, or the 10th base camp, last base camp, there will hardly be 3. Of the 3, 1 will scale the summit. Why? That one knows how to go the last few steps alone. You are alone. On the summit, you are alone. I am sure that in this G20 summit, Mr. Sringla has already reached the summit, but knowing his temperament, he will not remain there. He will bring his country onto the summit, and he will go down bottom to serve the next summit. That is the man. That is the subject of this book. And the author, an excellent work you have done. How can I say that without reading the book? Of course I glance to. I can say that. I can say that. You know why? Shakespeare has said, the apparel of proclaims the man. The apparel of this book, see? Beautiful. So the apparel of proclaims the book. The cover page is excellent. I am sure the content will also be excellent. But writing the biography is not an easy thing. There are 2 types of biographers. One is, they have something to say, and they say it well. Others, they have to say something. So which type of biography this is? I want many biographies that are there. Of course, the concept of the genre of literature called autobiography and biography, I think it started with St. Augustine's Confessions. That is first autobiography, accepted one. Biography, in writing this, I think Nirmala Roca is a very distinguished company. Boswell, who wrote the biography of Dr. Johnson. And the best biography, according to me, is Lytton Strachey's Victoria. A biographer certainly has to write good about the subject of her book, or her book. But the subject should not be projected as a hero. And not to project him as a hero is also difficult, because he is already a hero. Whoever is the subject of a biography has done some valorous, heroic, or great acts. That is why they are there. How to strike the balance? That's very, very important. Lytton Strachey strikes this. You know, Queen Victoria. Victoria was very humble in the sense that she felt above her only God is there. Even there she was doubtful who is above. Then her husband, Prince Albert. See, Albert was a strong man who had a mind of his own. He was from Germany. When he came, married her, naturally the queen's husband should be king. No. British aristocracy will not accept that. They said prince consort. You are a prince consort, which means obey orders. He was not willing to obey orders. He asserted himself in every way, in a dignified way, in which a husband can do. Once, in the bedroom, this is written Sati, not me. Once in the bedroom, and Albert was sitting alone, he hears a knock on the door. Albert asks, who is there? The Queen. No response. Second knock, who is there? The Queen. No response. Third knock, who is there? Victoria. Then he says, oh, come in, darling. That is a crux of a biographer's art. He did not go into too many details about the subject. This one instance could give readers an idea of what Albert is, what Victoria is. So to suggest is to create, to describe is to destroy. You suggest, I think this book, from whatever I could glance through, is very suggestive, not descriptive. It makes one think, how came that when so many are there? In the Bible it is said, many are called, few are chosen. That happens in the case of IFS also, isn't it? When the nation wanted an officer to lead the G20 summit, many are called, but few are chosen. That is the difference. That makes the difference, between the good and the great. I am sure that he will certainly prove himself to be a great asset to the nation. And now, even in G20, we don't have to say untruth about this country. Truth about the country itself is great. Yes, there are some people who prefer untruth to truth. I remember a politician in my home state, very hard-hitting person. He barged into the office of the editor and he told him, day in and day out, you are telling lies about me. You are writing lies about me in your book. I will teach you a lesson. Smilingly, the editor said, today onwards, we will not write lies about you. We will write only the truth about you. He said, please don't do that. Truth and untruth. That is diplomat's dilemma. Truth and untruth. Yes, you have served in Africa, right? Yes. Among Yoruba, the Yoruba tribe, Nigeria, the Wole Soyinka, and he is also from there. And there is a folktale. Truth and untruth are siblings. Once untruth asks truth, let us go for a swim across this river. A friendly contest. Truth agreed. They went to the shore. Truth took away the clothes and plunged into the river and started swimming. What did untruth do? Untruth donned the clothes of truth and walked in the town. Thinking that it's truth which is coming. They didn't know it is untruth masquerading as truth. They hailed him, cheered him, welcomed him, received him with pomp and show. Then truth comes after the swim. Truth finds my clothes are missing. All that is left are the apparel of the untruth. Truth said, I'll never ever wear the apparel of untruth. So truth walked without any clothes to the city. That is how we get the word naked truth. Naked truth was jeered, pooh-poohed, ridiculed, because people thought it is untruth masquerading as truth, which is glitter and glorious. But after some time, they discovered what is truth. Truth was revealed. That is what a good diplomat has to do. Untruth masquerading as truth will one day be out. We have diplomats. India's great strength is that we have people like you. And we delight in that. I am sure that after the G20, where earlier they said, Britannia rules the waves, from the rampart of that mighty building in which this humble occupant is there. That is the Raj Bhavan in Kolkata, from where the British people looted this country. From there, I should be able to hear these young people of India, the youth of India, after G20, led to those who said Britannia rules the waves, youth of India will say, India leads the race. That is the transformation which is going to take place there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much and excellent. I can do one thing. This motivational book should be of use to the youth of Bengal and also of course the youth of India. But I can speak only for Bengal. Sufficient number of copies of this we will certainly procure. It will be in the Rajbhavan Library. It will be in all the universities of Bengal. And I feel that it will be very good. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Harshvardhan Shringla, Foreign Secretary, former Foreign Secretary and present Chief Coordinator of G20, Presidency of India. Harshvardhan ji, he's basically from Darjeeling, hamre jagabata. म पनि दार्जिलिङबाटै हो. मैले सरलाई 2021 मा सिक्किम युनिभर्सिटीमा एउटा ग्लोबल लेक्चर अर्गनाइज गरेको थियो हाम्रो डिपार्टमेन्टले, डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ इन्टरनेसनल रिलेसन. त्यतिबेला फर्स्ट टाइम भेटेको थिएँ. From there the journey started and as sir has already said, we have never looked back after that. त्यतिबेला हामीले सोच्यो कि सरको बारेमा एउटा केही किताब लेख्ने and सरलाई कन्भिन्स गर्न हामीलाई पुरै टाइम लाग्यो. He was not convinced. He's such a humble person that he didn't wanted us to write about him. But somehow we convinced him and with his permission I got the opportunity to write about him. This book is a journey about a person like us, हामी जस्तै. I still remember a small anecdote जहाँ चाहिँ सरले जब lecture सुरु गर्नु भएको थियो, he started in Nepali. And that was the moment when, you know, all of us felt that pride of हाम्रो मान्छे. And that's the journey, how the journey started. And as I said, the book is about his journey, not only as a diplomat, but as a person. So when you read the book, you will come to know him as a person, how he has evolved over the years, and his illustrious career of 4 decades, serving his country and serving his nation and his people. And you will be astonished to know that he has contributed a lot to Darjeeling. In fact, he has brought delegates from Western world, especially from Japan, donations for our monasteries, you know. So that's all the story. It's not a story, but a narrative of the making of Harshvardhan Shringla as a person and as a diplomat. Thank you so much.